Jack Ebling here with Dan Kilbridge from Spartan Stadium after a 26-6 Spartan homecoming win. Dan, Michigan State, it wasn't always pretty, but they got the job done, and anytime you get a 20-point win in the Big Ten, you got to take it.
Absolutely, especially against a team with a very good defense, as they proved today. Illinois is very stout against the run, so they played well, but Michigan State was just better in the second half especially. Scored 23 straight points to end the game and just made a lot more plays on defense in the second half. Defensive coordinator Pat Narduzzi said there weren't many adjustments made at halftime. It was more just getting after him a little bit. I'm sure not very kindly, and trying to get them to play better in the second half, which they certainly did. So I thought, the defensive effort in the second half was one of the best I've seen at Michigan State.
Very rough first half. Michigan State with negative rushing yards. They get to 40 yards on 4 penalties, 2 of them on 1 play. But then they came back in the second half and had much better focus and intensity.
Especially the offensive line, I thought. They were not very good in pass protection the first half. Cousins got hit a lot. He was throwing off his back foot, didn't have much time. Second half on that touchdown throw to B.J. Cunningham, had all day to throw, again, and some other big plays. So they really stepped up the pass protection. Cousins was able to take advantage, and that showed in the final score. And that's something you really can't put a price on if you've got a nice time to throw in the pocket.
Mark Dell, a number of big receptions, had to really help. And you look at what the defense did with the 4 takeaways. Now that's 7 in 2 games. I don't know, the Michigan State wins both of those games without those takeaways.
Right, lost the time possession battle today, and they've got kids making plays all over the secondary. Darquise Denard, the true freshman, starting in place of the suspended Chris L. Rucker, had the big forced fumble and recovered it on his own. Then also Marcus Hyde with the big interception, Johnny Adams. So you're seeing different guys step up and make plays each and every week, which is what needs to happen if your team's going to make a big run at the championship, like Michigan State is currently doing when sitting at 7-0 for the first time in quite a while.
Yeah, you have to go all the way back to 1966 when Michigan State has done that. Now they're guaranteed another winning season. They have a chance to really make some hay next week, but we have to talk about Dan Conroy with the 4 field goals, and he's Mr. Perfect here, 13 for 13.
Right, and that's a school record. No other kicker has ever started that hot. Paul Edinger was 10 for 10 in 1999, but he's really been, rock solid all season long. Said after the game he isn't superstitious at all, just kind of goes out there, aims dead center, and he's been making them so far. The snaps and the holds have all been pretty good. And aside from the muff punt on Keyshawn Martins today, special teams on the whole pretty good with Kevin Muma's kickoffs. But I think Dan Conroy definitely Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
And the defense, you talk about field goals, holding Illinois to a field goal at the end of the first half. That was a great series. It could have been 10-3. It would have had a little bit different complexion with Illinois getting the ball first.
They really are starting to look like a classic bend but don't break defense with the way they've played in the red zone, also with the turnovers. So it's something that they did not get done at all last year. They've already got, I think, twice as many interceptions as they had last year. And so what that's done is it puts them in better field position, obviously, gets them much closer for Kirk Cousins in the offense to put some points on the board, and they were able to do that enough today to get the win.
Don't forget, this is an Illinois team that lost to Missouri, currently undefeated. Played Ohio State very tough into the 4th quarter and finally wound up losing that game by 11 points. And then last week put 33 points on the board in Happy Valley, and Michigan State hasn't been able to do that, so certainly understands how good an Illinois team this is.
Right, and kind of a mixed bag next week with Northwestern. They've had some okay games. Bad loss to Purdue last week. They'll be coming off a bye, and that's the first time the Spartans will leave the state this year, so they have a test there in Evanston.
Jimmy Ray back as honorary captain. It looked like one of those games at 65-66, a defensive struggle. And then you got Gerard Butler here for last night being at Midnight Madness, and he's up directing the band. And with all the kicking from Dan Conroy, looked like the soccer that Gerard Butler loves so much.
Yeah, he's been all over campus this week. We might see him pouring some drinks at Rick's later. I don't know.
Well, if he's a lucky charm, Michigan State try to take him to Northwestern next week as the Spartans try to go 8-0. Jack Ebling here with Dan Kilbridge. Press coverage for SpartanTailgate.com.